Hi, good morning. Good morning, Coin Observatory. Good morning, world. Think we're live. We're doing good. Awesome. Uh, Shifted some things around the home office. Still different, but just trying things out. I'm not sure how bad the echo is gonna sound in here because the soundproofing's on the other side. So if there's a lot of echo, I'll probably try to fix it in coming days. Let's start off with BTC. All right, what's going on with BTC and that chart? And we'll look at the stock market, look at futures, the S&P, and then go over some actual tickers. What's going on, Derek, Bruno? Thanks for the fire. Early this morning, I dig it. What's up, Steve? It's about 9:30, right? A little couple minutes early. Yeah, 9:27, 9:30. All right, let's dive right in. So, we had seen this pullback on BTC, and it held at key fib levels, right? It held it right at the levels underneath 46 and 4600 range. That held up pretty well, and that's a good thing, right? I was saying in Discord that now that we're clearing these levels above 46, 46.9, probably going to see that 63 range play out, maybe 69 before like a significant correction. Those are my thoughts last stream. Now, if we don't get continuation up to the 69 levels, right, I'm expecting some type of 61.8. It's going to remove drawings and kind of start over just on this micro correction. So we should see at least a 61.8, right? The major one would be the 53,226. 53,266, right here. And then a smaller one, right? A smaller one. I think we're at it right now. And nope, we're above it. We're above the minor 61, right? So that's good. We want to see 51,208 hold. And then the next possible rejection, right? If we're not going to go to 69 level, I'd say 53,236 would be. Why are we going to text every time? Here we go. Right here, 53,236 would be the next resistance. So you can see like a retracement up to here and then continuation down. That's if we're not going to see the leg up. But that's the key level that I'm looking out for in case I wanna enter a short. I'm just gonna go ahead and set my alert, so you can ping you guys in Discord, and so we pay attention at this level. All right, Fredo, morning. Joshua, morning everyone. You guys on the Facebook too. Good morning. All right, let's so you guys know I've kind of LTC'd a lot of my spot holdings. You guys on Discord know that. I still think we have this wedge in play, right? It's pretty hard to time these wedges. We did the same thing on Ether last year almost. Like 2 years I waited for that break and it paid off. And I still think we're doing this wedge. A lot of volume coming in, right? A lot of volume right here. I'm just gonna get rid of volume so you can chart this wedge out, and I think we're going to get a Litecoin breakout, right? It's the one coin that really hasn't done much in terms of a crypto major, and it's the only coin right now that's not listed on futures that's also a major. It's kind of, it looks channel-y, but if you get off log scale, right, it's definitely wedging. It reminds me of that Ether 2-year wedge that I had spotted that we were trading. And it's getting constricted, right? I want to see this thing start breaking out, and we'll know soon. So in terms of spot holdings, I am mostly in LTC right now, and it's actually had, it's had quite the day on BTC. It didn't fare very well during the correction, but it's actually up. We'll look at Ether too. That's that's one thing that I was really bullish on until seeing it's up 7% on BTC in terms of Litecoin on the bump. Man, stay away from GME. Seriously, stay away from these memes. That's funny. I know you're kidding because I know who you are, but a lot of people can be like, "Oh, GME's pumping. Go to the moon." All right. So ETH, I've kind of traded in my Ether. Been sitting this one out, and actually, like, just looking at these fibs, I haven't even charted this today. This is old. This is from the last time I fibbed Ether. It actually acted really well, right? Like, I mean, our top was at 1993. It went to maybe like 2K, and then it started correcting. And it held a 14.2, right? I did post in Discord saying, hey, you're probably gonna like see support at 1600, 1500s. That's where my alerts were on this dip. The problem is those CME futures, right? Everything that gets listed on there kind of does a consolidation, and then it breaks down and then it goes up, just like BTC thoughts. It's kind of what I'm expecting from the Ether chart now, right? Like something like this, just because everything that gets listed on the CME just does that. Like historically, every futures contract. Let's go to the weekly because this one's really old. Right, everything that gets listed on CME does the same pattern, right? This is silver. It looks just like BTC, 2018, 2019, and the takeoff. So, if something changes, I'll probably like post in Discord, but I'm traded out of my ETH for now. All right, let's look at indices. We had a strong bounce yesterday. In last stream, even like Monday, the whole thing I've been looking out for was the gap fill on the S&P. And I said the sooner we get this gap fill, right, the better for our expiries because we're still trading long. OTM calls, right? And the gap was here. It's the green box. I just kind of pop it up a little bit, and I do think this gap has filled, right? I do think this gap has filled. Now looking at these fibs once again, fibs don't lie. It's like Shakira's hips. 392. We need to get above it, right? Today, if we're gonna go with a hedge, I would say 392 puts would be good, right? Might buy some 392 puts up here and hedge for downside volatility in case we do stay corrective. So that would be something I'd look out for, and we could see some kind of consolidation here, right? Like a zigzag, maybe another leg down and then up, and we could just keep going up. I don't know. Like futures have been in charge of this market, and it's really frustrating. Retail is not really buying anything. It's futures been gapping us up, gapping us down. Pretty much institutions have been running a train on retail. That's what it feels like. They even broke the VIX, right? Like, I mean, I had VIX hedges from here, and it's done nothing but go down during volatility, which is not making any sense, right? Last correction, last 7% drop in the S&P was a 38% up move on the VIX, and now we saw the same thing, and we're still selling off. So, or VXX, not the actual VIX. Let's look back at SPY. So yeah, stock market's looking pretty funky right now. But the fact that like we're seeing a recovery in cryptos, these markets are they're directly correlated most of the time. We look at the big picture, and I've proven that. I've written about that. If you guys want a link to that, just ask for it. So in terms of risk, I think we're still in risk on, which should move speculative assets up. All right, fam. Let's look at some altcoins, some stocks. Show me some tickers. What do you guys want me to take a look at? Oh, y'all do that. I'll pull up the QQQ. Alright, yesterday I said we're going to take up some TQQQs. We're going to trade the 61.8 on that. Going to buy those OTM calls, and which is like 102. We should at least see that kind of retracement back to 102. Hey guys, can you look at ACIC? Probably a good one for small hands. ACIC small hands is the small account challenge that we're doing. INVT Corp. What do they do? Can you tell me a little bit more about ASIC? It's a real funky chart, man. Post IPO pump. I mean, I don't know anything about it, right? About the stock. It's really spotty. I mean, this could go either way. I'd rather not trade something like this, especially not knowing anything about it. We still have some extensions. Can't even fib this thing. Maybe we can. But if this is gonna like retrace back up, which most likely will, right? Like a dead cat, we could see 15.9. Let's look at Ford. Switch to a tumbler this morning. Sip and click. You guys got your coffee? Man, Ford is bullish. Ford is really bullish. And I've been wanting to buy a pullback. Like I've been wanting like something deep, like this kind of retracement, this kind of pullback, deeper than that 11. I've been wanting one of those, and I'm not getting it. So if you're in Ford already, good for you. Yeah, major 61.8s. Can it be like 12.6? We could go a little higher. Maybe we'll get a pullback off 13.2. Earnings are coming up in, nope, that just happened. Earnings coming up in April. So Ford is definitely BTFD type of stock right now. Just buy the freaking dip. Man, that should have been the entry at 10.4. Maybe 11. I'm not paying enough attention to Ford, right? That's my problem. See, I don't follow any like these investment funds type thing. Entered business combination agreement with Archer. Develops an electric vehicle takeoff and landing aircraft. Archer is building. Sweet. Okay. If you're dropping me crypto tickers, guys, make sure to put like BTC or USD behind it so I know what pair you want me to look at. So it's not, not trying to figure it out. Let's look at AVAX, GRT. Man, you guys are coming in hot. I like it. All these tickers. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get some of the guys off Facebook because they're not usually as active. AVAX, BTC. Jeez, what's the oldest chart on these? Maybe Hyuri. Same thing. So 2 ways to look at this pullback, right? 2 ways to look at this pullback. Is it a 61.8 of this move? It's not. Is it a 61.8 of the larger move? It looks like it is, right? This thing looks like it's at support in terms of the BTC pair, right? Because it pumped up and now it's doing a retracement. So, this should hold theoretically, right? If this doesn't hold, I would bail. Right? I would bail below this wick. 54,226. You guys can see that. Because the next move down is going to be a shit extension, right? And if you're looking along, like this is the perfect golden ratio 61.8 retracement. This looks good, right? In terms of retracement. I actually like it. I like this chart. Good chill, Steven. Let's look at GRT. I'm getting a good bounce too, man. Is it a 61.8? Right off that not quite at 61. The 50's holding. So that looks good. They look good. You know, anything below a 61, you kind of want to bail on because the big boys have bailed on. All right. ARKG. Economic Growth Revolution ETF. Look at the weekly. Jeez Louise, man, look at that run. Trying to figure out why it stopped where it stopped, right? That's really important. Once you have pivots established, that's when like your fibs really start mattering, because now you know what the market's actually wanting to do. I think that's fair. Genomic revolution. I don't know much about this ETF, man. Let's look at like smaller time frames. What is this tracking? So in terms of like minor liquidity, right? In terms of minor liquidity, this looks good, right? This is something that I usually like to see, is these extensions to the downside holding, right? So you take this swing low, this swing high, and then you get an extension, and based on that, like, you should be able to see these minor liquidity levels. What these do is they'll stomp out anybody in this run, right? Anybody that bought this range should be stomped out over here. And now theoretically, you know, if my fibbing my fib skills are on point, your next move is going to be 61.8 up. All right, so your next move on this chart should be up to 105. That, in my perspective, that's how I believe markets work. I'll get back to MSTR. All right, let me get some guys off. Let's look at AMD. You guys off the tube, and then we'll come back to. So AMD did something similar yesterday. I added to my AMDs, right? I added to my AMDs. I think got like 105, 411. There's no reason this chart should be looking this ugly, right? This thing held up, even if you like we go further up, like this thing held up at what I believe should be liquidity levels. I think Phantom gave a couple of pings too, somewhere around there. Yeah, that was, you know, it's kind of shaking out long. So I think that's what AMD is doing. Because I mean, they reported like their best earnings ever. Same thing with Apple. They beat with a surprise at 207%, and the chart is tanking. This makes no sense, right? It's kind of what we saw pre-election. These really good earnings, and the market was kind of just bear trapping, and yeah. So AMD's going back up. $90 is like minimum retracement. I think this thing's ready for an all-time high, especially after this dump. Maybe I'm perma bullish, but we should see a move up. And here we can also see on Phantom. For you guys that just like signed up for Phantom or new to Phantom or trying Phantom, I'm gonna remove all my fibs, remove drawings. When we see these, you see something like this, right? The midline holding bullish, giving you a green dot. That is really bullish, right? You're seeing the same thing here. You want to see those midlines hold for bullish continuation. Look at that. It didn't even like give us a sell signal here. It just kept going up. All right. Oracle, Disney. Not bad it there. I kind of want to see a big picture. Oracle, I've not charted this one in a long time. Geez, man, this looks ready to take off. This looks ready to fly, I think. Yeah, it's basically cleared everything. $70.99. That's the next target, right? and then 110. The reason I say this looks ready to fly is because it looks like the NASDAQ. This kind of looks like what the NASDAQ did. Coming out to 2000s. Whoa, what is going on? There you go. Alright, so it looks like it's doing something like this above that all-time high. So it looks like it should enter a pretty significant extension. My face is pretty big on this screen, so you guys should see this better, right? And that's why I think it's ready. Like, you know, it's up here. It kind of looks ready. I covered Biddy not too long ago, -- all right, CRSP, CRISPR Therapeutics. I'm just gonna look at a weekly extensions. Doesn't look quite ready. Let me look at the smaller established range. These usually give you like really good levels to trade. Still not seeing support. And then let's look at COVID. It's not COVID. That is COVID. No, November 2019 did. So I don't see support off like the major retracements, but looking at this chart, right, 209 was an obvious top, right? 209, 210. You see these right here, right? They just looked really toppy based on the fib extensions because we're running the two major ranges, right? The two major ranges from 73 down to 23 and from 25 to, you can't see that. Let me go ahead and I'm just gonna make myself smaller. I think the chart's more important than seeing me. There you go. So now you can see that, right? So this extension and that extension, we saw those wicks, failure to close above 210. It's kind of hard to see these things in real time, but like when you get these rejection weekly closes, right, it closed, kind of got up here and it failed, you kind of want to start taking profit on runs like this one. Now let's go into like an intraday, see if we get like a minor liquidity move. I'm just going to slap Phantom on real quick. Nothing on the 4 hour. Midline was bearish. Hourly, not doing good. 15, 30. I'm just screening through time frames. Alright, I'm gonna remove all drawings. Get rid of Phantom. Try to do this by hand. Where's liquidity on this move? Pretty similar to other charts, right? Pretty similar to other charts. I think we could get 120 again. And I don't know much about CRISPR, right? Like, I'm just looking at the chart. If we get a continuation bounce, right, I would look like a healthy exit 181. I do have a stream called like How Markets Crash, right? You might want to watch that if you're a little worried, right? Because you never want to sell low, right? You always want to wait for the dead cat, and it covers like how dead cats work. All right, SPAC. I'm guessing you're thinking SpaceX or space. I'll let you get back to me on that. MFT USD. I don't really dabble with these penny coins. The only one I did was Raven, just because I know a lot about it. FT is holding, right? It's holding. As of now, support is that 117. Should be pretty obvious. Right here. So if 0.0117 fails, you might want to bail on this chart because then you're looking at like big discounts. A continuation from here would probably result in a move to 22.1. So if we see something like this, you go like to a smaller time frame so I can draw some intricate lines. All right, we might see some kind of dead cat up to like here, and just kind of a range between the 2 cents and 0.2 cents and 2/10 of a cent. All right, let's MSTR. So you look at companies like MSTR, and you look at things like Tesla, and anybody that's going to get like deeply involved in BTC. I kind of touched up on this last stream, but you should wonder what's going to happen to these stocks, especially if they're S&P inclusive, like Tesla is now, right? What's going to happen to these stocks during a BTC correction? Are they going to step in and buy up BTC to preserve their value, right? And with what capital? And if they're getting discounted because of a BTC correction, how's that going to impact the S&P, right? So I used to like my markets a little more segregated, and we're not going to get that anymore, right? The correlation is going to get even tighter and tighter. So it's something to keep in mind. The dead cat for MSTR would be 1,067, right? That would be the dead cat. Continuation is higher. All right, that's all I got for PHV. Nice looking chart, man. This is a good looking recovery chart. Above the 61.8 at the 786. What do these guys do? Intraday looks good, right? Let's look at the long term. Dude, this is a really nice chart. 115. Let's go. Like if we see another revisit to 98, that's a clean buy. 115 is the most obvious target for now. I haven't covered Apple yet. I will. All right, let's look at Alpha USD. Jeez, man, these like super parabolic charts. I stay away from this stuff. Right, like if I didn't get in on this, I don't even look at them. And it's just FOMO. I mean, from last run up, it's up 900%. If you go to this one, it's up to 10,000%. You know what I mean? Definitely in the take profit stages on this one, right? I mean, it does look like it has a continuation formation. Possibly dead catting, right? I think a bull trap / dead cat would be up to here, and then 2.21. All right, let's look at Apple. Apple reported their best quarter, right? This chart had pumped on just optimism of the Apple car, right? And then that optimism went away. So I'm just gonna like delete some of these fibs. Let's look at the real big picture, and then we'll come back in and redraw. So in terms of what Apple's doing now, what I think it's doing now is it's kind of doing like a bull trap, bear trap, right? Because if we look at these extensions down here, this range extension was a bull trap at 143, came back down to 142, and then I think it did a bear trap because it did the same thing, right? You see how like the chart went from trading between my magenta and turquoise line to magenta and turquoise, right? And when that happens, it's kind of it's just stuck in a range, and it's at these like extremes of price action, right? So like short here and long here, and then wait, right? My Streamlight's kind of being funky. Come on, no technical difficulties. Thank you. All right. Ocean USDT. Right. Let's look at fibs on this one. 1.3 was resistance. Now we're seeing support at 0.9. You know, I would expect a dead cat out of anything that's coming back up until further notice, right? Until it's not a dead cat, all it is, it's a dead cat. That's my expectation. So I think 1.29 would be like a decent exit if this is a dead cat, or 1.13. All right. Geez, so many tickers today. ICX USD. Same thing, you know, I would expect dead cat until further notice. Except for this one, you got a lot more mature chart. We can actually fib it out all the way. It's frustrating, man. My Streamlight is like very loose. I just have it resting. Still configuring streaming off this side, so I won't do that next time. All right. Retracement wise, not looking great. You know, actually did the 50% retracement to that previous high. I think we can get up to 61.8. All right, I'm done messing with that light. I think we can get up to 61.8 to right at like 3.12 on icon. That would be like a logical target. Ironically, I think LTC did something similar, USD chart. And it rejected off that 50, right? I thought, hey, we're above that 50. We're definitely going to 61.8, but we didn't, right? We did not. And that's kind of, that's not good, man. You at least want to see the 61.8, right? Which is my red line. All right. Next up, Sumo Docu. Is that App Sumo? Is that what the stock is? It's almost in the same category as DocuSign. This looks decent. I would say 61.8 is the next destination. Would be, should be at like 35, 36, 50 should be the next, the dead cat. And everything's dead cat until it's not, right? So like, that would be the next target. Docu, which is DocuSign. Geez, I don't know why like DocuSign's so bullish. I think they you don't even need services like that. You can just email somebody a PDF. I guess when you're too lazy. That's just my perspective. So it's maintaining a channel, right? It's definitely in a channel. I don't know if it's like punched through enough liquidity to keep moving. If you're gonna get a 61.8, I think this was a 61.8. Oh, it was 786 and came back down. You want to see 250 go back to support, right? Before up continuation. I haven't really traded DocuSign ever. Maybe 254. All right. UTK, and I'll get PPT next. UTK. I like this chart. Right, it hasn't had a big run in terms of BTC value. I had a not quite rejection there. Maybe tying up my fibs. Perfect. Yeah, this looks like a good level, right? This also looks like a 61.8 or 50% retrace. Boom, it does. It does. Just like those earlier cryptos that were mentioned to me in the BTC chart where the 61.8 is holding. The other 61.8 is holding. So we should see some kind of retracement back to the upside. And I would put us at like 980 sats, 965 sats. I think that's potentially where this could go for now as like the next possible pivot. All right, PPT, BTC. Once again, guys, if you're throwing in crypto tickers, let me know the pair you want me to check out. This looks like a good retracement. I can just eyeball it. 61.8 on the dot. This looks ready to start extending, right? Just don't be fooled. Like some of these things looked. I saw a lot of guys shilling vet because it was looking similar to this. Let's pull up VET, VChain. Alright, like, oh, inverse head and shoulders, we're going to the moon. And then like they didn't, right? So these guys like, oh, inverse head and shoulders, you're gonna break out. You know, this one doesn't look as much, but it does look more roundy, right? It does have that round bottom. This looks good. This looks good. Definitely throw a stop on there, right? Somewhere around here, right? And should see some continuation. All right, what else? You got OCGN. That'll probably be the last ticker I take. OCGN. Whoa. It's a lot of gaps. What do these guys do? OCGN sounds like pharmaceutical. Sounds like a pharmaceutical. You want to see $13 go to support, right? 13.26. That 61.8 needs to turn into support. The next pivot, right? If this does continue to dead cat, are we there yet? It's also like $14. This could go to like $14. Needs to close above $14 and 13 too. In my perspective, this needs to do this and then continue off, right? But this needs to become support. It's a vicious chart. Okay. Jeez. KNC, BTC, no, KNC USD. Kyber. Look at that. If you bought that dip at 1.4, right? If you bought this dip at 1.4, then that's good, right? That was a really good support level. And now we're going to see hopefully 2.1, unless if we are dead catting. You always want to keep that scenario in mind. We're also going to see $2, right? This should go up to the $2 range. You're welcome, James. I guess next time we see the market melt down, I better put up a stream and get some fib levels going for you guys, because a lot of these bounced like technically sound extension levels. Santa Fe, man, I'm trying not to chase like vaccine hype, because a lot of these vaccines they're being subsidized, right? So like your profit margin on them is shit because the government's paying for it. Now, yes, it's gonna bring the company revenue, but it's not like some groundbreaking patent for cancer, right? It's not like they're curing AIDS or something. They're not, right? It's just it might bring the company more revenues, but it's not like, I don't think it's groundbreaking enough to like really crush, because a lot of it's been subsidized, so the government's paying. They're not going to charge the government at a premium. They're pretty much selling the shit at cost. Is it good for R&D? Yes. Is it good for the company long term? Yes. But is it going to like drive profits? I don't know, man. We look at something like Best Buy that has nothing to do with the vaccine. Because of COVID, they had like 15 billions in earnings, doubling any other quarter, and they just dumped on earnings. So yeah, there goes that. Alright, fam bam, I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for joining. If you're not on Discord, there's a link in the description. Smash that link, join Discord. We pretty much do this all day, just without me being on screen. And yeah, catch you guys in there. Make sure to